Good evening, everyone. This is student meteorologist Eric Drewitz, and today I'm bringing you your official 2014 SUNY Oswego Move-In Week forecast. So first of all, starting off looking at the current conditions, today this was taken at 213Z, and looking around the Northeast, temperatures mostly in the uh, mid to upper 60s and the low 70s around the coast. Mid 60s, mainly dominating in the interior portions of the state, and then up by the Canadian border, some lower 60s into the 50s in the Adirondacks. Um, so, without further ado, I'll move to this is the current map of the 850 millibar temperatures and winds, showing a high pressure system over here into the southwest of our region, and a low pressure system right here to the out in the Atlantic. Anyway, as you see, the winds around the high flow clockwise and outward. Obviously, as all of us Met students know, and lows are counterclockwise and inward. So right now, based on the position of these two pressure systems, it looks like over Long Island, New York area, we're getting a nice brisk northeast wind over at up at 850 millibars. Oswego looks like it kind of looks like the wind turns a little bit, like kind of like hooks essentially a little bit. So right now they're getting a little bit of a nice southeasterly flow at 850 millibars, but right now it's pretty much neutral advection, maybe slightly cool advection. I don't really see much difference in the 850 millibar temperatures up here over Canada, and then down here on the island in the city, not much temperature change is going on. So pretty much neutral to cold, to slightly cold air advection, very slight. Now looking at the 1,500 millibar thickness across the United States, continental United States, to get an idea of the trough and ridge patterns for all you non-meteorologists out there. Basically, what it is these lines are lines of height. They're lines of height of the height, the thickness. Well, the lines of the difference between, or the thickness between 1,000 millibars and 500 millibars. So pretty much this is the height between the two pressure levels in decameters. So the atmosphere is thinner over cold air masses, so you have lower heights or thinner thicknesses up here over in Canada than you would have down here by the Gulf of Mexico. Anyway, this is the 18Z NAM showing throughout the week. You know, some a week. Right now we're in a week trough. This is the initial analysis today at 18Z or 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. You can see we're in a bit of a weak trough right now. 564 line kind of dipping out towards us. 570 line right here. 576. But as you see throughout the week, as we progress, the NAM's hinting at the at a ridge forming in the east, and I've been reading talks and discussions about that it's supposed to get more hot and warm and humid during the week. And I mean, this summer was pretty amazing. It amazed me because we didn't really have a summer, because it was pretty much cool the whole summer. But anyway, it looks like we're getting a nice push, a nice ridge of some warmer air. The warmer air currently is centered over the southern, south central United States. I mean, I should technically be using red, but yeah, the south central United States, and it's going to be pushing into our region more so. But it's not going to be as hot here as it is down in Arkansas right now, in places like Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, obviously. But yeah, this is now 60 hours out. So actually, let's just go to 18Z Tuesday. So this is 18Z or 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time Tuesday, and you can see that the you can see that we have the 570 line now pushed up all the way here. And 576 is kind of staying in the same spot, but you can see the warm air starting to build in more from the southwest as the week progresses. And now we'll look at the 18Z GFS initial analysis in 18Z today. Same thing. You got the weak trough in the northeast United States. You got the 564 decameter line right over here, 570, just like before, 576, and then as the week progresses, we start to see more of a ridge pattern in the northeast. Let's go again to 18Z Tuesday. And as you see again, the GFS has the 570 line again bulging out here, so it's in agreement with the NAM. The ATZ GFS is in agreement with the ATZ NAM. Is the 576 line at about the same point. Pretty much a similar consensus of the warm air starting to move into our region as let me just change the color as this week progresses. I feel like red is a more important color for this. So let me just quickly change around the tools on here, and I'll make a blue pen, make it easier. All right, cool. So now looking more forward in time in the week, we see some disturbances developing over across the central United States, across the plains, across like Nebraska, Iowa, South Dakota, and it looks like it should be moving in our direction as the week progresses. Yeah. So it looks like the rest of the week is going to be pretty solid, when it comes to trough and ridge. It looks like a trough is starting to build back in the eastern United States. And now I'll look at the 12Z run of the European or the ECMWF, and it shows for what let's see. Let's go to 18Z Tuesday to compare it to what the rest of them said, and again it's an agreement. The 12Z run of the 12Z European. It has a 570 line bulging all the way out here into Canadian Maritime, just as the other models did. 576. Around West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, those areas again. Warm air going to be building in from the west. And as we go through time here, I can just click. You see, first we see a storm, a disturbance moving into the northeast. But again, I wouldn't rely on. I wouldn't really look at this too closely quite yet, because this is for 18Z Saturday next week. So this is 174 hours out. I wouldn't really look at the forecast models after like 100 hours out. But it could get you on some trends. But now this is the 12Z run of Canadian again. Let's go to 18Z Tuesday. It's in agreement with everyone else. The 570 line's bulging out here. So a weak ridge. Nothing really. Sorry, nothing really. Too much in the way of the ridging. It's not like a strong ridge is going to be taking place. But a weak ridge, so it'll bring a little more warmer temperatures to our region. We haven't really seen. To a region that hasn't really seen a summer this summer 2014. I think it only hit 90 maybe a couple times, once or twice this summer, but it's been fairly cool and seasonably cool this summer. So then this is now the 18Z run on the NAM, looking at the 2-meter temperatures across the northeastern United States, and currently this is the initial analysis at 18Z today. And as you see, temperatures are mostly around 70 degrees, give or take, mid 60s to lower to mid 70s. Warm air, but not too hot though. And then now this is we'll look at 18Z tomorrow again. Temperatures look like generally like mid to upper 70s for most of the state. And now 18Z Monday shows most of the state being in the low to mid 80s. Well, my bad. In the mid to upper 70s to low 80s. More so warmer temperatures, obviously, New York City metropolitan area, and of course, urban heat effect, urban heat island, we all know. And then 18Z Tuesday, again, showing temperatures mostly around 80 degrees for most of the state. Temperatures be coolest around the shores of Lake Ontario and Erie, and the Long Island Sound and Atlantic Ocean. mostly the Atlantic Ocean and the lakes now. The Sound is a little North Shore of Long Island just generally stays pretty hot. Sound doesn't really moderate that much. Anyway, 18Z running the GFS shows. Let's see. Let's compare 18Z Tuesday because that's what we've generally been doing. There we go, 18Z Tuesday. So again, GFS shows temperatures mostly in the low to mid 80s, isolated 85 plus in the western New York area. My bad, I don't know what. In the western New York area and also in the Hudson Valley area. So I would also say New York City, Manhattan could easily see over 85 degrees just due to the urban heat island. 18Z Wednesday again showing warm temperatures over the area, generally around 80, upper 70s in upstate New York, and then generally 80, low to mid 80s for the rest of the state. And we'll look at now the 12Z of the Euro showing, again, let's go 18Z Monday. Yeah, same, pretty much the same consensus. I'm not going to keep discussing it. It looks like generally models are showing trending for the warmest day to be on Wednesday. So Wednesday will be the day to break out the bathing suits and whatnot, according to the temperatures. And now these are the 10-meter wind vectors. So 10-meter winds. This is the 18Z run of the NAM, showing winds at 10 meters, pretty much shifting from more of like an east to like northeast wind to like more of a southwest wind, which also is responsible for the warmer temperatures throughout the middle of the week. When you have more of that southwesterly synoptic flow over your region. And again, the 18Z GFS shows the same thing. Winds generally trending, more towards Wednesday from the southwest, from like the northeast, east-northeast today to southwesterly flow Wednesday. So that's why, again, Wednesday is going to be the hot day. And this is the to get a view of what the winds look like aloft. This is the 850 millibar winds. This is the 18Z initial analysis of the NAM, and it's showing again winds aloft are going to be switching from like a east to a northeast wind to a southwesterly synoptic flow. So with this, warm air advection aloft is also responsible for the warmer surface temperatures, just as the warm advection is down at 10 meters in the surface. Now going to 18Z GFS. This is the initial analysis. Again, east winds mainly switching to a southwesterly flow throughout the week, then to a westerly flow later. But Wednesday again looks primarily winds southwesterly aloft at 850 millibars, and pretty much showing west-southwest winds at 12Z Euro and 12Z Canadian, showing about the same. Canadian looks like it's a little more variable, but the other models have been hinting at more so of a southwesterly flow at the surface and aloft, which makes perfect sense why we would have a warmer day Wednesday. Anyway, this is the lapse rates. The surface to 700 millibar lapse rates. This is the 18Z run of the NAM. And again, it shows Wednesday, the day where we probably have the most instability. Well, actually, we'll check out 18Z Tuesday first. So it looks like a good amount of instability. Lapse rates generally between 3 degrees Celsius per kilometer and 10, which is basically between the dry adiabatic lapse rate and the moist adiabatic lapse rate, moist being 3 degrees Celsius per kilometer and dry being 10 degrees Celsius per kilometer, which means pretty much if you are in dry air and you travel a kilometer in the air, let's say it's 40 degrees Celsius at the ground, let's say it's, or whatever, hypothetically, and you travel a kilometer up, it would be 30 degrees Celsius. But in a humid air, in a humid environment, you would have a lapse rate more so as like 3 degrees Celsius per kilometer, which is the moisture rate. So let's say if the air is saturated, like about very humid outside, 100% humidity. Let's say at the ground it's 25 degrees Celsius. If you travel a kilometer up, it's only 22 degrees Celsius. So pretty much what the point of the lapse rate is to look at the instability. If the lapse rate, if there's more of a temperature change per height, so if the conditional instability is defined as the environmental lapse rate, or the lapse rate that's actually occurring outside, is in between the dry adiabatic lapse rate, which is 10 degrees Celsius per kilometer, and the moist adiabatic lapse rate, which is 3 degrees Celsius per kilometer. So you see, it's looking like we're having some pretty good instability. 7 degrees Celsius per kilometer at 18Z Tuesday, and again, looking at the 18Z GFS, showing the same thing. Pretty good instability out there. 7 degrees Celsius per kilometer. That's pretty close. That's pretty close to the dry range. So, looking at 18Z Tuesday, the 12Z European, a little more stable, but still conditionally unstable. 6 degrees Celsius per kilometer. And let's look at Wednesday. 18Z Wednesday, yeah, pretty unstable. 6, not so much around Oswego, where it's about 5 degrees Celsius per kilometer. But I mean, it's defined as conditional instability, but it's not like it's down here where it's 7 or 6. And then up here, looking at Wednesday, yeah, it's pretty unstable. Lapse rates between service and 700 millibars being about 7 degrees Celsius per kilometer from a good portion of state, 6 as well. So now, without further ado, let's get to the short-term stuff more so. This is the 18Z run of the 4-kilometer high-res NAM, and this is showing the radar reflectivity. And starts at initialized at 18Z today, and it finishes at 6Z on Tuesday. So pretty much from 2 p.m. this afternoon to 2 a.m. Monday night, things are looking pretty clear. Not much in the way of clouds and showers, just isolated, spotty, cloud showers, but nothing to really keep your eye out for in the scheme of things. Nothing really too serious. Looking at temperatures again, same time range from 2 p.m. today to 2 a.m. Monday night to Tuesday. Looks like generally lows, in the 50s for most of the interior portions. Isolated mid to upper 40s in the mountains, in the Catskills and the Adirondacks. 60s, low to mid 60s around the coastal regions of Long Island and New York City. And again, temperatures staying, fairly moderate, seasonal temperatures. So now we'll check out the 10-meter winds again, same time frame. Pretty much, it looks like the winds are going to be pretty much out of the east, changing to a northeast, but then eventually ultimately becoming a south-southwesterly flow, as we saw in the models before. Looking at cloud cover and rain forecast. Again, it's looking pretty quiet out there between now and 2 a.m. Monday night. 850 millibar winds showing, weak cold air advection. However, later in the week, as this high pressure system moves on up into the northeast, into the Canadian Maritimes, that warm air will be building more into our region, as shown here at 2 a.m. Monday night. You see Oswego is undergoing some pretty decent warm air advection My bad. I don't know why it keeps doing that. But yeah, Oswego is going to be undergoing some pretty decent warm air advection at this time. So as well now, New York City getting into that warm air advection at this time as well. And now we'll take a look at the 850 millibar temperatures and winds using the 18Z NAM, the operational 18Z NAM, and the operational GFS. So pretty much, let's go to, let's see. Let's try to find 18Z on Tuesday. So 12Z, 15Z, 18Z Tuesday. All right. So you see, we have pretty much neutral advection, even though with the southwesterly synoptic flow. High pressure system looks like it's over Long Island, New York City. Looks like we pretty much have neutral advection just because the fact is the winds are running pretty much parallel to the isotherms, it looks like. So nothing too interesting is really occurring. And now looking at the 18Z GFS. Let's go out to 18Z Tuesday, and again, looks like pretty much neutral to slightly warm air advection occurring over the region. Let's go into Wednesday. There you go, 18Z Wednesday. It looks like pretty much primarily neutral advection, going from slightly warm to neutral as time progresses and as winds change from a southwesterly synoptic flow to a westerly synoptic flow. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this forecast. I hope that everyone's moving week will be well, and keep posted.